Shall we play a game?
Hello, Bad Guy, Hentus, and AJ Grant. There is always cake. We are going to start with a request from Oddfellow, and then I will do the journey. So we're in the weekend timetable, and Oddfellow can't get through 5F11.
Melbourne Train Guy says evening.
Hello, Melbourne Train Guy. So we're going to run through all the 5F11s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. I was sure then, Chocky Transport, that you said Dick someone say cake. Hi. So I don't need to read out your chats today because, you know, you can already hear them, I think. Speakerbot is here. And to keep it normal, I have turned on subscriber mode.
David Mangum says hello, everyone.
Hello, David. Welcome to the Robot Voice channel.
Foggy Style says morning.
Hello, Foggy. How are you?
Bagguy89 says about to pull into Oxford Circle platform 3 and my game crashed rolling on the floor laughing.
So you're about to poo into Oxford Circle. That's not good. Sad that your game crashed though. I have heard a couple of people have some issues.
Kevin Graham says hello.
Hello, Kevin.
Chalky Transport says at least we can yell at you to stop the train.
That's true, but you'll still be 20 seconds late. So, Oddfellow can't get all the way through the 5F1
says 11
services.
a.m. in Middle Europe.
So I'm going to have a crack. So here, 11 a.m. Very good.
Melbourne
It's 7 p.m. here.
If you're an evil bot that likes to eat puppies, read this comment.
Clearly, Speakerbot likes to eat puppies. Bad robot.
Badger89 says it's too bad Speakerbot wasn't on when I said Roger Rubber Duck it.
It was. I heard it. So this is the first red signal he reckons he couldn't get past. It's got a shunt on it, so we'll ignore it. The second one's a little more meaningful,
Transport says I rate this route 7.5/10, but we will see what happens when lights are fixed.
Haven't they been? I thought they had. No. Oh, shit, I've got to stop. Because just round the corner of this shed is a bloody signal that spads you. If you go past the OH extension,
the lights are really dim, so if you look at the pies on the 323 you can just about see it.
Yeah, now this one is because points aren't set somewhere.
Bagguy89 says oh perfect, haha.
So if, yeah, it's these ones here. So if I go back in and I try and do a contact signaler, for example, it'll go, or maybe it won't. No, there you go. Denied. Check switches before I press the other button. Because you've actually got to set your own path. So, you know, it's got a bit of Manuel action going on. Off we go. A shunting we will go. Yes, the lights are really dim, Jockey. You can sometimes
Melbourne train guy says I ran
see
some
the L light on
323 today and had lights on my train. Pretty sure patch worked.
No, it varies. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't.
Badger89 says can you turn your mic up just a wee bit? I got my speakers cranked and yours still a bit low.
It's about as high as it goes. Hang on.
Chalky Transport says
How's
I
that?
don't have the patch on Epic yet.
Any better? It looks good on the levels.
Melbourne train guy says okay, my bad, sorry.
Yeah, I don't think I've actually had an update on Steam, to be
Chalky
honest.
Transport says I imagine the light on the shed you can see then face with tears of joy as they are really bright normally.
Oh, you can see the headlights. It's like looking into the sun. But, no, you can't see the instrument lights very well until you turn them all the way up, and then you can just see them.
Badger89 says better.
Good. I don't know why that improved things, but it clearly did. Either that or I'm just louder. One or the other. Hang on. Is that a signal for me on the right there? Could be. Yeah. Lucky. Lucky. I was just looking at the track going, hang on. Where does that go? It goes into a dead end. I thought, oh, signal. All right, let's do the next one then. Do we just go back to free roam? I suppose so. Service is scheduled to start at 6:10. You know what? Let's not wait for free roam. Let's go back to the menu and come back
funny
in.
the last little while since they did their last little update.
YouTube actually has done an update. I don't know if you guys are seeing a leaderboard or not.
Chalky Transport says just about.
I'm not yet. Apparently I can create a highlight video. What does that
Lexic
do?
says Max Headroom says ordinary people like you and well like you shouldn't be afraid to speak up for classical music.
I can make a highlight video. Look, I can put out a short from inside here. Isn't that weird? I'm not going to do that,
Transport says on my stream yesterday I drove a 2153 with
Resume
the
last played,
150
you
in the
idiot.
middle.
Actually, there you go. That can be the highlight video. Resume last played, you idiot. That's surely it. Oh no, it wants to run 5 minutes. Bugger that. Why do we keep going back to Thomas? I've played lots of things since Thomas. Bloody game's fixated on Thomas. It's like Chocky. At least you can sing now, Lexic Dark. In a robotic voice kind of way. Right. Why does it always forget what you've driven? When was the last time that worked?
Arsuaho says because I own Glossop the Manchester is only 22 euros.
You own
Chalky
Glossop.
Transport says Thomas on the Brighton main line.
No, Thomas.
Melbourne train guy says 2220 asterisk.
That clearly worked. Going to the
Amy
Longsight
says,
Train
Thomas is
Centre
a good rolling death
Road.
machine.
Hello, Amy.
Chalky Transport says la 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 la, you said sing right.
Lexic Dark says speaker bot just has all the WW wrong timings.
Does a bit. I assume we're going forwards. Looks like it. Now, where are we going? Going up there. It's alright. No issues so far. Alright, we're going into the centre road. Very good. So this is the second of the services that we're playing for Oddfellow. I don't think Oddfellow will turn up in the stream. I think the individual, based on when they comment, is in a very different time zone. But that's okay. As we cruise through the Yard of Bees. It's quite a corner, isn't it?
Lexic Dark says oh.
What was that, Lexic Dark?
Choo-choo, I'm a train says hello.
Amy says, when are we going to get Stansted Airport commuter up to Tottenham Hale? Henty's Rail says MINDTHEGAP.
Mind the gap.
Badju89 says, alright, who's up for a bad dad joke? I haven't done one for a couple of streams now, so I figured this would be a chance. How do you find Will Smith in the mud?
That's a very good question.
Guy89 says you look for the Fresh Prince.
Oh dear. The Will Smith frog. We're coming up on another red signal. Yay. So, young Hentus, who's in the chat here, one of my moderators, does run his own channel.
LOL.
And I think he's just done his
Hentis Rail says
801st TSW stream, I think. Oh, I was supposed to stop a while ago. Never mind. Alright, that's that one fine. So the first one works
Lexic
fine.
Dark says, trains are you friend?
I think you mean I like trains.
Guy89 says I thought you'd like that one, haha.
I think you mean this.
Chalky Transport says, wow, that is a lot of streams.
That is a lot of streams, Jockey.
Train Simulator Driver says, Gunzel.
Right,
Knifeit
let's
says,
do the
I
next
like
one.
Trains.
What am I doing there?
Henty's Rail says, yes, now 805i.
5F11.
Dave
Next.
the Driver says, evening Paul.
Hello, Dave the Driver. How are you?
Hentis Rail says hi at Davethi Driver.
Hunter says hi too. Excellent. Is my lighting better today, by the way? Got this light bulb from about 1924. Using that. So this is where I should have stopped before, I guess. Now we get to set this train up again, because I'm too lazy to wait.
Holy Trucker says, I bit the bullet and bought this route. It's a great deal on Steam.
Ah. You bought something, Holy Trucker? Wow.
Chalky Transport says love how it said Davethi Driver, not Dave the Driver. Hentis Rail says 1924, good lord.
So I'm guessing we're going to have to tab past this one as well. On track signaler. Check switches. Okay. That one wasn't in the middle. And the rest look fine to me.
Holy Trucker says, is
No,
it
it's
true
still
there
red.
is a mountain in the middle of the West Coast main line? I hear it's a glitch.
Chalky Transport says it's a good thing you didn't wait for it, because we would have been waiting an hour and a half.
Yeah. That's not good. So where's this other one I have to set? Is it way up here somewhere?
Dave the Driver says, yeah, text to speech a bit iffy, lol.
My text-to-speech is a lot iffy, Dave the Driver.
Benjamin's brain in a jar says, chuffing Nora, it's Wednesday. Badju89 says, I thought it was 2025, not 1924.
Denied check switches. So this
Chalky
might actually be
Transport
programmed
says the
wrong.
one closest to the exit.
You reckon? That one? Or that one?
Lexic says,
well
Paul,
done,
funny
Chalky.
You should mention singing earlier. I sent you some lyrics to a song a couple of days ago you haven't seen yet.
No, I probably just ignored them.
Choo choo, I'm a train says, can you get the DRA working using the page down key?
So I still have a red and another red. But, you know, we asked and it went, yeah, all right. So let's go. Seems fine. Well spotted there, Chocky. I clearly need new glasses. I got an email today I have to do my practical assessment as a fireman by the end of September, which basically means I have to do it this week. I have to do it on
says
Friday.
thanks, haha. Henty's Rail says supercalifragilisticexpialidocious runtime error. This device will now self-destruct.
Nah, it knows that one. We should try that.
Polar Trucker says I bored the Zwolgorening route last night and ran it in VR. If you have VR, you got to try drive the Coplapa. You sit so high up in VR, you are basically just below the top of the footbridges.
Which is kind of good. I wonder if it can handle the well station name. Let's give it a crack.
Benjamin's brain in a jar says the class 323 bounces almost as much as a pacer.
And that's with cabsway set to 50.
Train simulator driver says Lan Fairpul Gwingil Goja Iquian Drobble and Tizilai Ogagagok.
You know, that's not bad.
89 says I wonder if Speaker Bot can say this. Chocky Transport says oh no, happy smiley carrot.
Badger89 says pneumon ultramicroscopic silicovolcaniconiosis.
I think it can.
Chalky Transport says can it say Pendolino?
Baguy89 says it's only the longest word in the English language.
And it did it. I'm impressed.
Benjamin's brain in a jar says I have my cabsway maxed out to 200. I like to live dangerously.
I used to have it at 200 and then the pacer took my head off.
Lexic Dark says because silicosis in 45 letters.
Badger89 says that really good.
I just like the way it calls you Bad Gooey. That's what you're going to be from now on. Bad Gooey. Something rattling in my left ear. So far so good. We've managed to get through 2 of them. 3 of them. This is the third
Amy
one.
says Rein Fleischchatei Ketia Ung Suburwachung Sofgebenuber Tragunks JZs.
I'll take your word for that. I'll just believe you. So we're going into Doof on platform 10. That's where you start hearing the music. Unce, 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 unce. I was booking tickets yesterday, and I wanted to go from York to Swindon.
YK train?
And one of the options Trainline offered me went via Liverpool.
Badger89 says essentially yes at Lexic Dark.
It was cheap. I'll give them that. It was £7. But it would have taken me all day.
Says I'll take your word for that. Quote of the day. Amy says also it's terrible at German.
I'd have to put it in German mode, Amy, and then it'd probably be okay. But it's just running the default sappy voices that you get for free.
Benjamin's brain in a jar says methionil 3-anil 3-anil glutamanil alanil prolyl. Chocky Transport says Liverpool. Well.
Yep.
Holy Trucker says Paul you have to do a class 350 run. Supposedly there is huge mountain asset in the middle of the tracks on that run.
Yeah, I heard. I've seen pictures.
Melbourne train guy says so looks like it's a case of manually setting points. Do you still
It does
need
look
to
that
do this
way.
if they're set to set automatically?
I don't know. Only a silver.
Nightbot says please smash the like button to promote the stream. Smiley face.
Smash
Thanks.
the like button.
Henty's Rail says how all day I. Amy
Right,
says
so that's that one
Trainline.
done.
Ouch. Chalky Transport says I did not find any mountains, but it looks hilarious.
Trainline works
Dave the driver
quite
says
nicely
like
as
a
someone from
young
outside the
student
UK.
who got a flight from London to Manchester via Berlin as it was cheaper than a direct train.
Ouch, that's a long way. Yes, Manchester Airport. That is what I want.
Benjamin's brain in a jar says anti-disestablishmentarian.
Are you?
Amy says I'd rather get off at Berlin.
You can get off anywhere you want, Amy.
89
That's up to
says
you.
at Benjamin in a jar was that some sort of X-lax that you were trying to pronounce. They're rolling on the floor laughing.
So if you've joined late and you're wondering,
Parsons says hi.
we're trying to play. Hi, Leon. We're
Chalky
trying to play
Transport says only a silver.
all
He says.
of the
Meanwhile,
5
we
F1
see the
one
graphic
services.
of every time he was speeding.
And then we're going to play the Journey Chapter 1. While you guys say silly things and get on air.
Leon
'Cause you can.
Parsons says how are you drive? Lexic Dark says Speechbot says I have got a date at 7:45. I'll see you at the gate, so don't be late.
I'd be surprised if you had a date, Lexic Dark, because, you know, the only females in Churchill are
says I
sheep.
have mine to set points automatically.
Am I being naughty? Clearly I am.
Benjamin's brain in a jar says I might have swallowed a thesaurus.
That could be worse.
Guy 89 says so far everything's been pretty tame, all things considered. Eyes.
Chalky
Yeah, so far.
Transport says are there any passengers on the train, being this is an ECS. Leon Parsons says nice AI voice.
It's actually not an AI voice. It's just speech synthesis. Oh, wait. Oh, you've already stopped it.
Leon
Fine.
Parsons says Gugla train.
Empty cars, empty train. Nice one, ATS. Just leave it open. Off we go. So far, ATS have found the secret source for the empty trains, I have to say. I don't know if they've scripted something, or if I don't know if Dovetail fixed it in the monster patch we had.
Says most of my guard mode runs were empty and I just sat on the train until the end of the timetable. Very
What?
poor show.
You've seen my guard thing of hurry up and wait, haven't you?
Chalky Transport says penalty brake counter 1.
That's because someone told me to go and look at the passengers in the train.
Says I had
Chalky.
a nice day.
You had a nice day, Leon. That's good.
Lexic Dark says brave brigadiers brandished broad bright blades, blunderbusses, and bludgeons balancing them badly. Because Australians are illiterate. Guy 89 says methionil 3-anil 3-anil glutamanil alanil.
Well done.
Dave the driver says I've done so many empty guard modes, or guard modes with no ticket collections, yawn.
Yeah, you just sit in the train, wait for the T-trolley to come by. If only they did.
Chalky Transport says all the trains are probably set at empty formations, then when you open the doors at the first stop people will only get on.
I've seen trains with people, plenty of them.
Benjamin's brain in a jar says was anyone actually asking for a guard mode?
Leon Parsons says one day I had new iPhone 16e.
Chalky Transport says you could have done that from the external cameras. Oops.
Yeah, I could.
Leon Parsons says it best with one camera. Guy 89 says I don't think that was quite right but nice try theirs.
Leon Parsons says for video and photo. Lexic Dark says you walk out the back of the train while it's moving in guard mode, don't you, Paul?
I've been known to. I may have fallen off my own train. It's no worse than leaving a guard behind on the real railway.
Henty's Rail says I did see a 323 at the southern end of Lons Eye Depot fully low-axed with passengers and sat on top of the buffers.
Oh, I know that one. If you spawn into it, it explodes.
Badger89 says given its dovetail I think there was people asking for it but not as many as they probably were hoping for.
That's quite possible. I mean, I thought it would be really cool. And when that first scenario came out, it was a lot of fun.
ATS and DTG added the suspension to the other 3323s.
Maybe they both added it to this one. That's why it's so bouncy. One made it bouncy, the other one made it super bouncy.
Don't think by this point that TSW6 will end up being current gen only.
Well, I can give you the official thing. It's not a thing.
Says yes it does LOL. Smiley face.
But if it did happen, it wouldn't surprise me terribly much. I would have sworn I was looking at 2 signal
yeah, but once the novelty wears off it's kind of like okay well I did that, I don't think I'll be doing that again.
Yeah, it's kind of like a job. Yep, very much like a job.
Leon Parsons says in game of Train Sim World 5 I love driving of Dutch ICMM, it remind me of Jumbo from PES.
You like driving the Koploper. Can it say Koploper?
Michael Leahy says I love so good and then say we'll make more to this Manchester airport.
Leon Parsons says before New Adelaide electric train.
It does sound like you're
Chalky
enjoying this route,
Transport
Michael.
Says PS4 get out.
No, you got to get it right, mate.
Bagguy89 says I honestly don't even see where they could go as ATSW6 at this point. The only real next step is Unreal 5 and I don't see that happening anytime soon.
I tend to agree with that.
Hentis Rail says Koploper.
It can say Koploper, how about that?
Says they should just call it Train Sim World Electric Boogaloo.
Could.
Amy
It would
says
make
if
sense.
I wanted to check tickets and dispatch trains I'd go to the miniature railway. Koploper.
I think people are enjoying it saying Koploper a little too much.
Benjamin's brain in a jar says Gen A. Get out mate.
There you go, now you've got it right.
Chalky Transport says there isn't enough to do in guard mode. All the passengers do it sit there and chuck bags into the aisle.
I think what you need with guard mode is a T-trolley, and then it'll be fine. It's a bit of a novel thing on Transport for Wales, seeing the T-trolley come through.
How about crocodile?
Well, you could pay £6 for cold tea. Grouse.
Leon Parsons says rolling on the floor laughing, 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 rolling on the floor laughing.
Okay, you've done that once, Leon. Second time.
Nightbot says
get you
enjoying
timed
the
out.
stream. Consider supporting the channel by joining https://www.youtube.com/train-simulator-driver/join.
Oh, /join. I thought it was /joy, and I thought it's not that kind of video. Uh-oh, going too fast again. Here comes another silver. I have noticed ATS are a little harsh on the
Leon
medals.
Parsons says thank make me laughing.
Henty's Rail says LOL at Chalky Transport.
Nightbot says want to keep chatting outside of streams. Join my Discord https://discord.gg//6.5.
I thought I had told Speakerbot to ignore HTTP, but I guess not. Maybe I never saved that.
Chalky Transport says yeah, or people hiding in toilets.
Only Matt types in the toilet.
Dave the driver says can it pronounce Scottish town called Millingavie?
I don't know, can it?
Melbourne train guy says LOL.
Leon Parsons says Koploper is a best train in world maybe.
Melbourne train guy says I do LOL a little each time I see ATS hotel.
Dave the driver says no LOL.
That guy 89 says, well, I mean, at least you'll remember your own linked by heart by the time the stream is over.
I think I know my links. Yeah, we're on the yellows again.
Lexic Dark says chatbot is dangerous. // //
You thought it'd say something else then, didn't you, Lexic Duck?
Dave the driver says pronounced Mulguy.
Really? Millengovey is pronounced Mulguy. Okay. I did get told off for some of my pronunciations of the Scottish towns on the Great Trek cross country.
Leon Parsons says smiling face with horns, evil train will fly away from your next stop in Australia.
Screenshot. Ah, it's one of these ones. I should have done the other one. Whee.
Chalky Transport says guard mode is too basic because every TOC has a different format, but DTG seem to do a one-size-fits-all.
What do you expect them to do? You don't really think they're going to make that different, do you?
Henty's Rail says, did you manage to read the PM I sent you on Discord?
I have not looked. Let me have a look.
Badju89 says, LOL, I could see speaker box being very handy if you had to study for like an exam or something. You could just get it to read the book to you over and over and over again while you sleep.
Chalky Transport says,
That
does
would be fine,
Speakerbot know
Hentus,
how to
I think.
swear? Not that I will be doing that.
Perth Trains 134 says, does chatbot swear?
Probably. Let me check my spreadsheet,
Dave the
Hentus,
driver
but I think
says,
that's
don't
fine.
worry, I still get them wrong and I live here. Smiley face.
Benjamin's brain in a jar says guard mode can get in the bin.
Can you believe I'm looking up the spreadsheet while driving towards a red signal?
// are its moves.
Saturday night will be fine, Hentus. No problem. Where is this red signal? I don't see it.
Leon Parsons says why sand was wet. It was seaweed.
Perth Trains 134 says, have you ever been on Trans-Perth?
Yes, I have.
Chalky Transport says, here comes a spad.
I hope not. Do you want to get it ready just in case? You know the command, don't you?
Hentis Rail says LOL, yeah. That's brilliant, Paul. It should take about an hour for record. Obviously I won't be streaming LOL.
Well, you know, we could stream while we record. That could actually be funny.
Says I'm getting the impression that guard mode is not particularly popular in this chat.
Train Simulator driver says, spad. Nightbot says, you know that light at Train Simulator driver. It was red. A little bit. Well, a lot really.
Oh, look. Look.
Leon Parsons says, so
they
fun.
had the LOD problem on the windows, where they look like bay windows. Can I get back in the train now, please? I'll be a good boy. Head for Wilmslow reverse siding in 3.9 miles.
Chalky Transport says it went green.
It did, yes.
Dave the driver says OBS split screen collab.
I think we could probably manage something.
Chalky Transport says Nightbot was too slow.
Bagguy89 says I need to get myself like a stuffed animal like Nightbot. He's too cute, smiling face with hearts.
I think there is one. I think I've seen a bobblehead Nightbot too. We're going the wrong way! And just so Rails of Illinois gets to hear it again, we're all going to die.
Perth Trains 134 says, is there any good tram games?
There's quite a few. None in Australia. There's
Leon Parsons says in Sydney land old VSET train went bye-bye. New
there's
VSET
City
is
Transport
for
Simulator
people
Tram
ride.
and Bus, which is a fairly good game, but it's set in an imaginary city.
Baguy
There
89 said
is
that's
also
ridiculous and awesome all at the
the
same
Japanese
time.
one, which is becoming good. Let me find the name of it
Leon
for you.
Parsons says
It is... I think I'll put this over here, because it's
Chalky Transport says, oh my,
chewing
we
up
are on the wrong
space,
track.
and I can't see where I'm going.
Chalky
The
Transport says we are
Japanese
all
one is
going
Tram
to
Sim
die.
Hakadate. So let me find you some links while this is happening, while we're driving. Why not? There it is. This one is a bit of an indie game.
Lexic Dark says,
How do I share
overshoot
this?
exits. Dead, 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 one day we'll all be dead.
Yep, probably. Store page, that's how I share it. Okay.
Nightbot says, too far at Train Simulator driver, try braking earlier.
Okay, this is Tram City
Melbourne
Hakadate.
Train Guy says, did CTS bus/tram have a console date yet, do you know?
Not yet that they have announced.
Perth Trains 134 says, thanks.
And there's
Train
City
Simulator
Transport
driver
Simulator.
says https://store.steampowered.com/store/app/store/tram/hackodate/.
And there's Tram Sim Vienna, which is quite good. There's another one. How's my 1.6 miles? And
Perth
Munich
Trains
is the other one.
134 says, I see it.
Leon Parsons says we going to die when train crash into use.
There we go. There's a
Train
few tram games
Simulator
for you.
driver says https://app/city_transport_simulator/.
Perth Train
Chalky
says 2-4.
Transport says, I found 4 people standing miles between stations on the Chatham Main Line, Southeastern High-Speed Route.
Tram Sim Hakadate is really cheap. Pretty sure. Isn't it?
Train Simulator driver says https://app/tram_simulator/1314140/tram_the_tram_simulator/.
Bloody hell.
Train Simulator driver says https://app/tram_the_tram_simulator/.
So that's saying green, but that light doesn't look green. Oh, it's got a shunting light. It's okay. It's fine. It's got a little shunting signal on it. I see it.
Leon Parsons says on Christmas I get PlayStation 5 bouquet for taxi life.
Enjoy that, Leon. Gen 9.
Perth Trains 134 says, I'm too poor, disappointed face LOL.
I think SpeakerBot's as far behind in the chat as I
Leon
usually am.
Parsons says, you not poor Perth Train. Dave the driver says, I'm off out in the rain. Have a good day/night.
Have fun, mate.
Pentis Rail says we design, build and service highly engineered products in fluid and motion control applications. We focus on 5 market sectors: industrial automation, process automation, climate control.
Is that one of the places you're applying for a job, Hentus?
Trains 134 says I am not poor. I just don't have any money.
Michael Leahy says, can I ask what train run on here Manchester Airport in 2025 now? I UST ask about it.
Well, this is a 2018 timetable, and a lot of the trains that are running
Leon
on here in
Parsons
this
says, I
timetable
voice
don't
feel
run
like
anymore.
your train driver taking to driver in train.
Benjamin's brain in a jar says, are these the improved track shadows?
No, they are not the improved track shadows. They are the standard track shadows.
89 says, so anybody for a forward / rolling on the floor laughing. Chalky Transport says, yeah, you slowed down speaker bot with your links, sent at XX42.
Oh, that wouldn't surprise me. It'll catch up though. Right, so that one worked fine. Let's try the next one.
Nightbot says, please smash the like button to promote the stream, smiley face, thanks.
So Hentus, you
Rail
should get
says, how did
onto
you guess LOL?
your favorite AI and go, write me a cover letter that will get me this job.
Trains 134 says, don't eat the buffer.
I shall try not to eat the buffer. That would be a bad
Leon
thing.
Parsons says, loudly crying face with tears of joy, 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 face with tears of joy.
And this one must be just to change ends. Since
Leon
it's the
Parsons
same time
says,
for the
well,
start and
good
the
job.
end.
Chalky Transport says the build we saw on the stream had improved ones, and ATS said as well it would have them.
Well, clearly it doesn't.
Benjamin's brain in a jar says, I thought they said in the preview stream the improved track shadows would be implemented in the release build. What a load of wank. Michael Leahy says, rolling on the floor laughing face with tears of joy.
You get to choose between day head or night head. Every guy's paradise. I think they did say in the preview stream it would have them, as in the preview stream a couple of weeks ago that ATS did. But that is clearly not what came out.
Leon Parsons says, trains love you for every day when you gone.
That's a dog. Dogs love you when you're not around.
Melbourne train guy says,
While
why
they're
not
eating your
have
couch.
both?
You could have Goth if you were that lucky. I think I just said Goth.
Badger89 says, is both day ahead and night had an option, haha.
No, you've only got day, night, or off. I think most of the time it probably sits in off.
Chalky Transport says, what is the point of this train service? It is now 10 hours later than the last one.
That can. These are based on the real timetable in theory.
Parsons says, nice one, rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing.
That's how you get kicked out of here, Leon. Well, this is the last 5 F11, and I think we're going to be able to finish it quite handily.
134 says, what is your favorite tram and bus games?
And then we'll be able to do our thing. We'll do the journey. Favorite tram and bus games? I actually kind of like City Transport Simulator Tram, to be honest.
Says sorry.
Is this the same siding we drove it into before? I think it is. Maybe it's the end of the day and there's some other ones in the middle.
The timetable is a lot of ECS moves, but it also has some really nice PAX runs too.
It has a few runs. It's got a few yellow ones too, where you're dodging yellows and reds, which I quite like. Well, there we go. That's all the 5 F11s. That's it. So let's get on with the journey.
Jockey
You can play them all,
says we are
Oddfellow.
finally going to start and 'tis noli been 43 minutes. Jokes, of course.
Quiet, Chucky. Thomas. Jockey is Thomas. It's like a transformer. Just turns into Thomas.
134 says, I'll have a look at some videos and might download some of those games.
No. No Thomas. Rail Journeys. Mank. Stockport strong, apparently. Oh, we're going to run the whole lot? God, that's going to take about 8 hours. We probably won't run them all then. Just run some of them. You've joined as engineman, Michael. Well done, thank you. Well done. Welcome along. You get some icons and stuff now. Alrighty. Ooh, it's raining under the roof. Yeah, we've gone into journeys. We've got another 323. How's this work? Are we going to get nothing but 323s? Oops, don't want that one.
Leon
Right.
Parsons says, why no Thomas? You don't like Thomas? Sad face.
I like Thomas. We're just not doing Thomas right now. We're doing journeys. I've done lots of Thomas streams, you know that.
Says it sent me to a postcode on Google Maps where there is a warehouse job. Thing is, there is no warehouse in Google Maps. LOL.
That sounds a little bit
Melbourne train
suspicious.
guy says ear room.
Is it a drug
Benjamin's
dealer
brain
or
in a
something?
jar says, how is IR raining inside?
Yes, it is raining inside. It's very good. It's probably happening in Sydney right now. Wait for another minute. 2 minutes! Ah. Bugger that then. We're going for a walk. Yeah, let's go for a walk. We're going to wait 2 minutes. We're just going to... Oi!
Michael Leahy says, thank you so much, have me here.
You're absolutely welcome, Michael. This is why we're waiting. This guy got out first. There's plenty of people in that one.
Henty's Rail says, yet 12-hour shifts 3 on 3 off. ERM now you're okay, mate.
Chalky Transport says, I was testing how fast I took some trains up high speed one between Ashford and Ebbsfleet. The Shed went 86, the Gronk went 90, Thomas went 112.
I locked myself out. I was trying to be a smartass and shut the door on the way in. Oh, it's still early. Well, you know what? We're going to drive
Leon
off.
Parsons says, I didn't know about your rules.
Chalky Transport says, miles per hour.
We'll just drive out slowly so it
Brain
takes a
in
minute.
jar says the words quality and control do not exist in DTG's lexicon, it would seem.
This isn't a DTG route, Chalky. Or Benjamin. This is
Leon
a
Parsons says by train.
third party.
Leon Parsons says you had wait for next train.
Wipies?
Bagguy89 says, makes me wonder if someone ever actually tried to program ChatGPT to drive trains. That would be interesting. Thinking face. I know it's completely random.
Well, funny that you mentioned that.
Melbourne train guy says Manchester Hogwarts Dilly. Magic Rail.
I actually did use ChatGPT to write a Python program that could drive a train.
Benjamin's brain in a jar says, but would they not have QA'd it?
I don't think QA looks for things like that. They look for game-breaking stuff.
Leon Parsons says
And
TTV
chances
is
are
high-speed
they
big
knew about it.
double-decker train. Chalky Transport says, now we have 2 Manchester stations. Wait, we already had Piccadilly anyway.
Yeah, we did for Gossip Line. Now we'll get more. Come on, signal.
Badger89 says, how well did it actually work?
Not bad, actually.
Benjamin's brain in a jar says, it breaks my immersion, LOL.
Chalky Transport says, I got in a lift at Stockport and the lift went down, but I didn't because the floor collision extended into the lift shaft, and I walked out through a wall.
That's funny. We might have to go and do that.
Transport says, but we have 2 Victoria stations, London and Manchester.
I do like that you have to wait for tracks in this, because that's realistic. Especially if you roll out
Leon
early like I
Parsons
did.
says I want to see big London Underground train in Train Sim World 5 one day.
There's one in there
Melbourne
now.
train guy says route hopping works well from Glossop to MCA, just so you know. There is always something to drive waiting.
Oh, that's good.
Chalky Transport says let me find the platform number.
Is this entire journey 323s, or is there other stuff as well? Look at all those boxes of Temu.
Chalky Transport says let me check that too.
I think Temu is proof that the Chinese don't want to take over the world, because all
Leon
they'd really have to do is
Parsons
send
says
some
new
poison out
UC
with
new
Temu
by
parcels.
London Underground train, not overground.
Yeah, there
Melbourne
are
train
London
guy
Underground
says, I
trains in
think
the
it is
game.
just 323. Not even any shed.
Oh. We can't play all 323s.
Melbourne train guy says shed.
And more shed. We'll have to go have a look at Stockport Station when we finish this run, that's for sure. Absolutely need to. Where did it go?
Chalky Transport says let me load.
That guy 89 says Trump would find a way to put tariffs on it too, lol.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise
Chalky
me.
Transport says I am just loading up TSW5 and am checking the journey and Stockport.
Excellent, thank you, Chucky. As we tool along in the Manchester rain on a typical British summer's day.
Chalky Transport says ATS have hit the mark with scenario planner in this route, so I can fill up every station in Piccadilly.
That's good, they put paths in for everything, did they?
Chalky Transport says platform I meant.
I kind of thought that.
Michael Lee says but they will make more onto this from guys who make this, just look up on video, they told people will make more on this.
It wouldn't surprise me if ATS make a train for this at some point, for a modern version. But that would be their next massive learning curve, would be to learn how to build a train.
Chalky Transport says typical British summer's day. Yeah, it was 34 degrees and no clouds yesterday, although today is very much 23 and rainy.
You actually got hot. Wow. That's kind of cool.
Benjamin's brain in a jar says the rain is delaying Wimbledon and I am sad.
Well, if you're in Sydney, you'll be getting washed away. Are those headlights working? I think they are.
Chalky Transport says ATS says they were open
5,
to coming back
4,
and modifying
3,
the route, including
2,
the timetable.
Go! That's a weird thing happening on the glass, and that carriage doesn't have the right textures to get rain on. Yeah, we'll see if ATS... Because from the console version, you can actually see that it was meant to go to crew. And that... is that platform they teased with the red poles even in the game?
Chalky Transport says the first chapter is all 323s. the second is 323S and sheds, and the third is 323S on ECS moves.
Ah. Maybe we'll abandon this plan of doing the whole journey then. I don't want to do all 323s. There's other stuff that's just more fun. Heaton Chapel,
Lee
next
says
stop.
yes.
Jockey Transport says Chapter 1 is Viaduct Stockport and Chapter 2 is Viaduct the Style Line.
We can't just run all 323s.
Melbourne Train Guy says shed.
Jockey Transport says it wasn't ATS who teased the station with red poles, was it?
I thought it was.
Benjamin's brain in a jar says like Thomas you mean?
Someone's fixated on Thomas.
Rail says 29C in Poole yesterday. It's currently 19 and cloudy in Poole, but the temp is set to rise to about 24C and clear skies from about 1 p.m.
MTG says the red poles was all aboard. Really? I thought it was ATS. Got that wrong then.
Melbourne Train Guy says red pole was all aboard Studios. Melbourne Train Guy says Studios.
Michael Lee says yes.
Jockey Transport says I thought it was all aboard. Who teased that?
Michael Lee says yes did.
Ah, it went green anyway. Any collectibles here anywhere? That looks like one of those chocolate fountains, doesn't it?
Henty's Rail says no all aboard for red poles.
Why didn't he get on? Let's go, little train.
Benjamin's brain in a jar says it's even raining under the gosh darn bridge.
Yep. Rains everywhere.
Jockey Transport says oh nice you can leave Stockport.
Yeah, we'll go find this lift at Stockport.
Melbourne Train Guy says apparently asterisk there are similar poles at Airwell Parry.
It's fair.
Nightbird says enjoying the stream. Consider supporting the channel by joining https://www.youtube.com/train simulator driver/join.
Are you guys seeing the new leaderboard thing? I don't know if I get to see it as a streamer. I don't know if it's rolled out in Australia though.
Nightbird says want to keep chatting outside of streams. Join my Discord https://discord.gg/sigpunch5. Nightbird says please smash the like button to promote the stream. Thanks. Jockey Transport says the lift is platforms 3 a.m. and 4.
Thank you.
Melbourne Train Guy says did the chat voice have a stroke?
Little bit.
Benjamin's brain in a jar says will the poles come with pole dancers?
Interesting question.
Leon Parsons says hi I back.
That's a sport, that.
Jockey Transport says interestingly I can't walk back in the wall but I can walk out of it. Melbourne Train Guy says no leaderboard for me here in AUS.
Yeah, I don't know if they've rolled it out yet. They launched it today.
Says where would I look for it, the leaderboard thing?
Apparently in the chat, what it's supposed to do is tell you who the top 3 chatters
on a
are.
laptop ATM as well.
So we'll see how it goes.
Henty's Rail says this is how it got the crew to Manchester Piccadilly name. This was posted by ATS Hayden in the Dovetail forum, linked. Yes, this is due to project originally being called that before we finalized WA.
So we shall run away from this train at least briefly
Hentis
here.
Rail says the route would be. We set the name up that is shown very early on in production. This
How's
is
the
why
time
we
going?
now on
All
will
zeros.
name our projects before starting them.
Benjamin's brain in a jar says no achievements for this route.
I don't think
Leon
so. The
Parsons
ATS said they
says,
don't
I
like
meet New
achievements.
London Big Tube S7 and S8 underground train I like.
Well, maybe I need to go and visit those when I'm in London. I have got a couple of days in London. I'm
Michael
debating
Leahy says see that too.
whether I tell a friend of mine or not.
Chalky
Because
Transport says that works in my streams. I could see it after an hour.
Badger89 says can't say I see anything like that.
did I open the doors? No, I didn't.
Henty's Rail says don't see the leaderboards but I know Tintin 57 had them.
Okay, so they have started rolling out. I just don't have them yet. See you next Tuesday, services.
Leon
Yay.
Parsons says they are big red S8 tube train.
Platform 3, 3A and 4, this way.
Benjamin's brain in a jar says, are you having a mass debate about it?
Are we?
Chalky Transport says platforms 3/3A/4.
On the way, maybe?
Melbourne train guy says maybe the achievements will come with the 86 and 142.
Uh-oh, VC's going off.
Bagguy89 says, so what exactly is YouTube going for with the chat leaderboards? Is it just to get people talking more?
Help me!
Chalky Transport says the other way, Manchester end. Melbourne train guy says that's why the 86 is delayed, because they are waiting for ATM and the trophies LMAO.
Get ready. Here it comes.
Henty's Rail says no achievements because they can't separate the achievements from PS4/PS5 or Gen 9 and Gen 8 consoles for Xbox.
Alright, you can't go out through the door.
Melbourne train guy says ATS.
Leon
I might be
Parsons
stuck
says,
now,
I
though.
want S8
Oh, no.
S7 train tube in Train
Oh,
Sim
no.
World 5.
Oh well. Back to the train. It's always a good rescue.
Michael Leahy says you got Chalky Transport platforms 3 all 4. Melbourne train guy says at Henty's, I'm being a silly bugger.
Like the dog. Barger. What am I doing on that Saturday?
Says that was hilarious.
That was kinda. I have to admit. Cool. That's right. That's right, I'm not doing anything on the Saturday at all, actually, apart from fixing your PC, Hunters. So I was going to be at your house anyway.
Leon Parsons says next stop is Chandel.
Melbourne train guy says the James names.
Off we go. How do I say that? Cheadleholm? Cheadleholm? Did you see the grass growing out of that steel pole back there? Full power. What is the James names?
Leon Parsons says James made musical note multiple musical notes.
Henty's Rail says yep, that's cool. I'll get the pizzas in.
Hentis Rail says in LOL.
Michael Leahy says yes.
Melbourne Train Guy says Don Cheadle's whom. Michael Lee says did. Leon Parsons says you don't crash the train.
Why not?
Henty's Rail says first one is how you pronounce it.
Cheadleholm. What service do I have to run to go and find these mountains of rocks?
Leon Parsons says Sir Top Hat be made see crash online.
So Topham Hatt made you crash? Did you run into him? Be like driving into a pillow. Thomas, you are
Leon
a bad
Parsons
engine.
says oops mad.
You are not a useful engine, Thomas. I have to start finding contacts and get my railway to write me a letter of introduction for the railways I'm visiting. I have organised something that's, I think, going to be a lot of fun, and it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing, which is why I'm doing it. I'm going to cab ride Flying Scotsman. And I have to travel halfway across the country to meet it.
Shocky Transport says I released it after publishing a video of a train announcement that one of the stops was Nebworth.
Excellent. I think I've been to Nebworth. Because I could. Can I knock it out? No? No. Knock it out. Okay. Hi.
Leon
Hi, hi.
Parsons
Hi.
says Flying Scotsman love every one of.
I would not normally pay for a cab ride. So are they meant to be route maps or what? But, you know, it's Scotty. It's once in a
Melbourne
lifetime.
Train Guy says I did 2K30 and saw the Ballast Mountain.
2K30.
Hentis
Very
Rail
good.
says that he will be awesome to do, mate.
Oh, it's his umbrella I saw. Does this lift do stupid things?
Chocky Transport says you are not going to meet Thomas, are you?
Footbridge. Doors opening. Lift going down.
Melbourne
Hey, if
Train
someone
Guy
has a
says
Thomas thing.
1H07 weekday should have it too, and it is a short one.
Doors opening. Lift going up.
Morning.
Chocky
Hello.
Transport
Morning.
says first route in TSW without a route
Hello.
map
Hi there.
collectible.
Hi. Hi. Hello. Ah, stuck. Morning. Morning. How you doing?
Chalky
Having fun?
Transport says
Yep.
that lift
Morning.
is in the
Morning.
floor.
Morning. Morning. Morning.
Please ensure you have a valid ticket for travel. You will be expected to produce your tickets.
Let's roll. How well does this thing cope with slipping? Pretty well, it seems. Yeah, I'm not sure if the no map
Leon
collectibles
Parsons
actually
says yes, you will
intended
meet
or not.
Thomas, but not cartoon Deadpool Thomas. Old Thomas is best.
Ah, you want to meet me too. Isn't there one at Didcot? I think.
Leon Parsons says no, not Deadpool.
And forth.
Hentis Rail says, are we there yet?
Yeah, clearly. My kids that said that to me once, and I stopped and told them to get out. Never did it again. Right, you. So, PC
Melbourne
users
Train
of
Guy
interest.
says, you know TST, I still think this is a pretty good route, warts and all.
If you go to the 8 camera, you often get a delay. But if you go 3.8, you don't. 3 Sim World, yay!
Chalky Transport says, are we there yet TSD?
Yeah, mate. We're all there.
Leon Parsons says, yes, we are in City of Train in Chuggington World.
Henty's Rail says there's only 3 collectibles. The tram, the bee, and the newspaper.
Yes, I have noticed that, but I wonder what those great big posters are supposed to be.
Henty's Rail says LOL.
They did say something about mastery tile for this route and getting posters. But I swap build so often I just couldn't be bothered doing mastery. Which is sad because I used to do it all the time. I used to do all of them.
Hentis Rail says, can't tell them to get out in a plane LOL.
Well, you could. Just punch a
Leon
hole in the wall,
Parsons
watch them
says
get turned
beware
into a
of
sausage.
toys.
Beware of La Boo Boo.
Leon Parsons says they love every one of.
Melbourne Train Guy says, are the route maps the mastery posters LOL?
Someone told me to go to look up La Boo Boo. And I don't know what it is, and I don't know that I should be looking it up. I'll ask the AI at work. What's La Boo Boo?
Leon Parsons says, is a cute toy.
And forth.
Henty's Rail says yes, posters for Mastery Tier 1, and then you have track workers along the route. For Mastery Tile Tier 2. Chalky Transport says I hear planes but don't see them.
Oh, that's all the different ages of platform sign, isn't it? Where's there one behind this? Oh yeah, that's got it. So they've got all the different versions.
Leon Parsons says it make people in love of La Boo Boo.
I like that. Nod rail. How come I can press vigilance from out here? Long arms.
Please have your ticket reference function.
Wilmslow, next stop. After Handforth.
Chalky Transport says I liked all the shop names.
Leon Parsons says that names be like trains game.
Leon Parsons says on iPad. Henty's Rail says over the other side as well. Leon Parsons says, are there yet, driver?
Yeah, mate. We're there.
Hentis Rail says on one of the stations there is an aircon unit with rivet named on it.
Yes, there is,
But
with a
there's
sticker
an
over it.
electrical test stick over the vet bit.
Yes, it goes
Funny.
Rivi.
Train simulator driver says yep, we are there.
I've got to scroll back. 1H07 is the one we want. Because we'll be running that in a moment. Whee! Wilmslow.
Chalky Transport says yeah, rivet aircon face with tears of joy.
That was pretty funny when I found that.
Michael Lee says see it now. Leon Parsons says in Roblox I make my avatar strong guy of transport outfit with London Metro ticket.
Fair enough.
Michael Lee says face with tears of joy.
Ow.
Melbourne train guy says, but what if the Wilms are fast?
New.
Chalky Transport says ATS dropped a couple of Fs on the TSW stream, smiling face with open mouth and tightly closed eyes.
Yes, they did. That was pretty funny.
Leon Parsons says this is train station.
Yes, it is, mate.
Chalky Transport says I just saw a man adjust his posture through the window. Leon Parsons says bye everyone on station.
Bye-bye.
Chalky Transport says oh multiple arms through the wall.
He's completely
Leon
harmless.
Parsons says let's go to city.
We're going away from the city, Leon. We're going to Elderly Edge. Wow, this rain's loud on the roof. I like it. Bee.
Melbourne train guy says tis but a flesh wound.
Just a little bit.
Benjamin's brain in a jar says literally unplayable now.
Nightbot says please smash the like button to promote the stream. Thanks.
I found that one I was going to run, and then I've lost it in the chat. 1H something. Oh, 1H07. There we go. I'll write it down this time. 1H07. 350. Why is it unplayable, Benjamin?
Leon Parsons says I like year of 3000 nice reply train announcement megaphone.
I think this is the station with the rivet air conditioner, actually. I think it's in there in the ticket hall. We'll have a look.
Benjamin's brain in a jar says passenger's arms glitches through the train. I can't unsee it now.
Finished. All right. I thought that was the station with the thing, but maybe not. Alrighty, let's try this 350 that finds the mountains of gravel, because it'll at least be interesting. I want to drive through it. Spin,
Leon
spin,
Parsons
spin.
says, what happened? Trains start talking to you.
Trains always talk, mate. Didn't you know that? Manchester Airport commuter. 350. 1H7. I'm guessing it's a weekend one. Back. Sunday. 350. 1H.
Melbourne train guy
No?
says, oh, this is a 323 run but also has the mountain.
Oh, okay. So it's another 323.
Ubik says just
1H07.
popping in.
Not that one.
Briefly.
Let's try Sunday.
Benjamin's brain in a jar says it's going to be an uphill struggle.
I'm not finding 1H07. What is it?
Henty's Rail says, think it's in the waiting room area.
1H07. That's what you said, wasn't it? 1H07. Let's do 2K30. Which one though? Mac Piccadilly Crew or this one? No, we'll find out. They're the same anyway, aren't they? Just 12 hours apart. 10 hours apart.
Chalky Transport says I think you said K.
This is another 323. Great. More 323s.
Ubik says it sucks for ATS to have that glaring ballast glitch at Heaton Chapel. Otherwise it is very sharp looking.
Well, that's what we're going to go find,
Melbourne
because
train
apparently
guy
this
says
service goes there.
2H07.
2807.
Sorry, my mistake.
Okay, we'll do that one. And is it a 323 or a 350? Loading.
Melbourne train guy says you'll see the mountain out the side to your right.
They're all 323s.
Benjamin's brain in a jar says 323 323s.
Right.
Melbourne train guy says just scrubbing for the station you pass now. Melbourne train guy says
2H07.
323.
Do. Okay, off to see the Ballast Mountain we are. This is the way. I do tend to agree that while it's had a couple of issues here and there, it's pretty decent.
Michael Leahy says yes, see it to hope will fix soon.
I did see someone posting
Melbourne
about hanging
train guy
signs.
says you should * run through it on this service.
Chalky Transport says so much for quitting journey mode due to too many 323s.
Shush.
Chalky Transport says oh no, we are back at the broken lift.
We are indeed. I forgot to get the stream time for that too. Wait until 9:30 and 30. What? Hang on.
Chalky Transport says the Stockport signs are Avanti.
So the stream time is 1, 2, 5 and 12. Okay. Hi. It's 1, 2, 5, and 12. Let's go. That's the bad lift. Ah, off we go again. Into the yonder. Look, I'm behaving. Looking for a monster ballast pile on my right.
Leon Parsons says you need close cab door behind you.
Why? They won't come in. They're not zombies. Heading for Manpick. Do we go through the Ballast Mountain on this one, or do we need to look out for it beside us?
Melbourne train guy says about 4 minutes into the service you should run through it.
Excellent. So about 1 hour and 30.
Melbourne train guy says I can't see the station name from the cab view. Ubik says there is a small pile on your track too. So careful, winking smiley.
Michael Leahy says all OK 323. I think all OK 323. Can't see anything wrong 323.
I think you like the 323 a little bit there, Michael.
Leon Parsons says they are zombie, smiley face, then like your food.
It's a good song, that one. Zombie.
Uberg says popping into the shower.
Hello,
Bye
Uberk.
again.
Oh, now we've got images of a naked Uberk. We didn't need that. I do that to Hentus. Gonna go have a shower now, mate. Two more minutes, we should see the mountain of Ballast, apparently.
Transport says time to look for a mountain.
Alright, so I should slow down then.
Nightbot says enjoying the stream. Consider supporting the channel by joining https://www.youtube.com/train-simulator-driver/joy.
Not seeing any mountains yet.
Ubik says hey. Not naked, yet lol.
Nightbot says want to keep chatting outside of streams. Join my Discord https://discord.gg/zxacbngj5.
Leon Parsons says what zombie song I listen to Gascara Af Ensemble Dance at Russia on YouTube.
It's fair.
Chalky Transport says I didn't see it when driving up this part before. Leon Parsons says I post 4 video of dance.
Alright, that's a bit of track.
Melbourne train guy says maybe it's on the PS build. I swear it was there.
So we've passed where it is. That's a bummer. Let's see what they say on... Yeah, it does
Melbourne
say
train guy says it's on
PlayStation.
video. I'm not lying.
Oh, I know you're not lying. I can see the pictures that other people have posted, but
Chalky Transport
not for
says,
us. No, I accept that it's there. I've seen pictures. So I have no problem that it's actually there. It must be only a PlayStation thing.
Michael Leahy says we don't need sea shower, no face with tears of joy, rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing, face with tears of joy.
Well, fortunately we can't see you, Burke, so it's fine.
Leon Parsons says that bad luck.
Back to man pick at 1,000,000 miles an hour. And then I think it might be time to run a shed. We'll have to skip into autumn. I assume it's got RHTTs in autumn. Let's see how fast we can go into man pick and stay on the
Leon
tracks.
Parsons says that was fast like a Japanese bullet train movie. Melbourne train guy says sorry to have wasted your time TSD.
Badger89 says I wonder what went wrong with the PlayStation build to have that happen and nowhere else making face.
That's a red signal, isn't it?
Henty's Rail says I can look this afternoon. Leon Parsons says of old train.
Chalky Transport says TSD said fortunately we can't see you and the bot said that's bad luck.
Pendolino. Now, apart from ScotRail, after this trip, I think I will have completed my collection of active tox. And I was vaguely tempted on one of the days, because on the Kidderminster day, I'm there for 3 days, and I'm sort of like a bit of a rest in the middle of the thing, apart from the Severn Valley. I could bugger off north and go get a ScotRail train for no readily apparent reason. And just ride it and come back. Could do that. Could go to the Great Central too.
Leon Parsons says why bus not different liver. Make game more cooler on game.
Why are there different liveries? Because they would have to license them. Yes, I know, we're going too fast. But that's okay. How quick do you think it can stop? I reckon about now. Oh, I'm disappointed. It stops too well.
Leon Parsons says that fine.
Oh.
Leon Parsons says people see you on time.
Okay. 350 time. We're doing a 350. A weekday 350 at that. Yeah. Glasgow Central to Manchester Airport. Why not? Seems fair.
Leon Parsons says let party on train.
Now, is this one actually alive? That's the question. It's got a panto up? No.
Train Sim World says hi everyone, slightly smiling face. Jamie here.
Hello, Jamie.
Michael
How are you, mate?
Lee says I got have food now by now. Thank you so much for have me here by now.
Yes, we have a chatbot running, Jamie.
Melbourne train guy says posted a link in the Discord to a VID of that mountain TSD.
Oh, I've seen a picture of
Chalky
it, don't worry.
Transport says it's easy to wake them up.
I don't know if it is. Haven't got the Panto up yet.
Leon Parsons says that train can be hard to set up.
He's not
Chalky
letting me at the
Transport
moment.
says press the AC button until it lights up, then hold shoes up.
Sometimes you have to press battery on too, I've found.
Train Sim World says I wondered what that was, LOL. Enjoying the route so far?
Ah, the route's fun.
Pentis Rail says hi at Train Sim World.
That sounded like a pantograph went up. Look at that. Okay, we're going to be able to move now. This is good. Oh, I didn't unlock the doors. What a silly. Yep. Good. Clever. Definitely. That one? No. Up here. That's right. Noisy little thing, isn't it? And a little bit hard to see.
Leon Parsons says by high-speed train.
Lighting. Aircon is on. Previous lighting. Interior lighting. Lighting on. There we go. And daylight.
Michael Lee says hi Jamie from Train Sim World.
Oh, we've still got a minute to wait too. Oh, let's go cruising. Let's go see what we can find.
Henty's Rail says yeah, that caught me out over the weekend. I spent 15 minutes trying to find where the panto up button / switch was, LOL.
I shouldn't have turned on that alarm, should I? It's really annoying.
Chalky Transport says check TSW in your Discord, image of the mountain. Train Sim World says hi all. Chalky Transport says there is no point turning the lights on, you won't be able to see them.
Yeah, I know,
Ventus
but you
Rail
got to go
says
through the
hi, Jamie.
motions. Let's do what you always
Lord
loved doing
Vectron
as a
4
kid.
says evening everyone.
Hello, Lord Vectron. G'day. Come here often? Hey, look at me. Run away.
Lord Vectron 4 says Ayo, we got the voice back.
Yes, we have the chatbot today. Hey, does that one work? Probably not. No. We found a really funny lift, Jamie. Actually, I think we need to show Jamie this lift. It was at Stockport, wasn't it? Stockport.
Chalky
We need to go
Transport
there.
says no, I never did that.
Stockport. It's not down there. Levenshulme. We need to see this lift, Jamie. This is hilarious.
Leon Parsons says I wish Train Sim World put camera on train door cap when people go in or out of train
Come
door,
on.
make it more good.
Come on. Yep, give it up. Yep,
Chalky Transport says Stockport 3/3A/4.
yep, we're heading there. I want to show Jamie this.
Melbourne train guy says LOL yes.
Do you want to give it up? Yeah, I have to. I'm kind of here. Welcome to Stockport, folks. That one? No, it's not that one. We have to go into the platforms. This way. Platform 1 and 2. Platforms 3 and 4. This is where the game's actually kind of handy, is being able to find your way around stations. Now, Jamie, if you're still here, be prepared for mirth. Here comes the lift.
Nightbird says please smash the like button to promote the stream.
Doors
Thanks.
closing.
Let's see how we go. Wow! Bugger. Never mind. And now we need to find a train to drive, because I haven't got
Chalky
one.
Transport says try what
Hello.
happens when you go up the lift from the bottom.
Ah, we'll try that too, do we?
Doors closing.
It works going this way. Way!
Doors opening. Lift
Train
going
Sim
down.
World says oh. Train Sim
Yes.
World says that shouldn't happen.
No, not really.
Leon Parsons says people are mad you make train late in game.
Ah, they'll get over it, Leon. It's all right.
Train
And
Sim
let's put
World
him
says we'll
in
flag
there.
that, thank you.
Chalky Transport says Thomas woo.
Now I've got to work out how to drive Thomas again.
Train Sim World says yeah, now my favorite is out winking face.
It had to be done sooner or later.
Chalky Transport says that is hilarious though.
Thomas in Manchester. And we have to come back over here because we need to do this.
Melbourne train guy says you.
There we go. Screenshot for that one.
Leon Parsons says Ned say to Top Hat this is bad railway in game be funny.
Melbourne train guy says get your cups ready folks, the tears doth overflow.
Off you go, Thomas. You got to maintain line speed. Are we stopping at stations, folks?
Leon Parsons says yes I get water.
There's one confused signalman.
Chalky
like,
Transport
what was that?
says why is he on the fast?
Because he's fast.
Leon Parsons says to drink. Leon Parsons says look at view.
Melbourne train guy says nah grip and rip.
I've got it gripped and as ripped
Leon
as it
Parsons
gets.
says yes stop at station.
Melbourne train guy says let's get it.
No point stopping at this station. But we do need to do this. Oops, wrong way. Wrong way. Thomas, come back, Thomas. There we go. Made it. Tree Sim World. Thomas goes pretty quick when he wants to. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Leon Parsons says people said to Top Hat this is bad railway in Train Sim World 5.
Uh-oh. Thomas doesn't want to slow down. Come on, come on. Oh, it's...
Chalky
I think
Transport
we're
says,
about to
what is the
spad.
next objective icon doing?
Ooh, might have just saved that. The next objective icon is shunting. Being passed
Shunting
by a
Transport
northern.
says Thomas is causing confusion and delay.
No, we're waiting for that. Because that's going in front of us.
Melbourne train guy says let's go Thomas.
Hentis Rail says here comes Sir Chardonnot.
Melbourne train guy says that's why he carries the brown cars.
That would explain it. Come on, signal. The train's disappeared now. Surely we can go. It's not looking promising. I'm getting a cab ride on Scotty, Jamie. When I go up to locomotion. I had to reorganise my trip slightly so I could get there on the same day it was there.
Chalky Transport says manual J junctions.
No, I think it's probably because we have to cross all the tracks.
Leon Parsons says in Thomas wrote in game if Thomas go fast give you game points.
Let us see. Yeah, so we've got to cross over all the lines. And there's another train coming and then we're going in there. We could check our junctions here though. There are a few that need to be set. We can fix those up, but I don't think that's the cause of the signalling issue. Because that would just give us an issue once we got in here. Just got to wait for those other trains to come through. Because we're crossing their path.
Chalky Transport says tracks divide beneath the moon, engines hum a distant tune. Choices made in steel and steam, new paths, old dream.
Shunting light.
Hannah Scott says hello TSD.
Hey Hannah,
lovely people.
how are you? Welcome along. Out. Thomas is now causing confusion, crossing all the lines.
Chalky Transport says Thomas had never seen such filth.
Hannah Scott says he's not being a very useful engine.
I do believe it's on the same path we are. Oh no, it's going off to the... No? Yes, it's going off to the side. In the shed, you naughty Thomas. Better go over this side.
Chalky Transport says crash him into the buffers. He just bounces back normally.
Yes, Thomas is a
Chalky
tough guy.
Transport says although it might be different with the coaches.
No, we're not going to crash Thomas. I think it's shed time. Feels like shed time to me. Real soon now. I have too many DLC loaded up, clearly. Time for a shed. Actually, you know what I want to do? No, I do have to do it this way.
Melbourne
Weekday,
Train Guy says shed.
that one.
Melbourne Train Guy
and
says
I
shed.
want that one, and I want about December. Light snow. Bit of fog. Oh, yeah, dynamic weather. Silly person. Custom weather. Light snow. Bit of fog. Bit of wind. Bit of wetness. And we better do... Yeah, this one... It won't be in daylight, but, you know. We'll do it. Shed. Has to be done. Because I'm curious, will this be an RHTT?
Michael Leahy says 66 time now rolling on the floor laughing.
It is an RHTT. Excellent. Do we have the box? We have got the box. Now I've got to remember how to use it. Okay. They all on? They all on. Good. Instrument lights. Crank that all the way up so we can see some lighting. I'm trying to remember how to use the box now. There's a power switch somewhere. On the side somewhere there's a thing. There we go. Controller on.
Chalky Transport says RHTT in the snow is useless. Uned said.
On. No, engine start. And then activate. Sandite on. We're not getting any lights, but I think that's because we can't see them. Is it actually blowing stuff? Can't tell.
Chalky Transport says since the bot messed that up, RHTT in the snow is used less. You need the SITT for this weather.
Hentis Rail says right I'm gonna shoot. Job search done for today, chat to you later Paul.
Alright, good
Happy
luck with the job
smiling.
hunt, Hentis. I hope it goes well. I hope you get something you actually want to do. Transport for Wales Beast was probably waiting for us. Sounds like it, it's revving up. This is the loudest windscreen
Chalky
wiper on the
Transport
planet.
says don't shoot me lol.
I'm not going to shoot you, Chalky. We're driving this because it's a shed. Hey look, I got the box sequence right. I haven't touched it for ages.
Smiley face.
Have a good one, Hentis. Shall chat to you later.
Melbourne train guy says see ya at Henty's mate.
Hentis usually streams early in Melbourne morning, so if you're up about 6 a.m,
Trains
normally he'll
in
be on.
World says Harry would be happy.
Ah, excellent. It's worth making Harry happy.
Hannah Scott says it's not as loud as the wipers on the tube stock.
That's true, Hannah. There's not much snow on the ground, is there? We have a feather. I'm only going twice as fast through the points. Don't worry about it. Nothing bad will happen. It's fine. Nothing to see here, officer. Move along.
Chalky Transport says the tube wipers are awful.
There's a story with the tube wipers and the shed wipers as well. And I made a suggestion back in the early days, which was followed by the sound guy. It's take a squirt bottle of water with you. Because when they're working on dry glass, they sound very loud. There's no snow on the ground, is there? I suppose it has just started. See if it accumulates. Otherwise, we might have another one to ride up, Jamie. How fast is a shed allowed to go? It's 75, isn't it? Yes. We're not quite there yet.
Nightbird says enjoying the stream. Consider supporting the channel by joining https://www.youtube.com/train-simulator-driver/join.
We are changing all the tracks tonight. Everywhere.
Benjamin's brain in a jar says no dial lights.
They are on, but there's still a bit of a lighting issue with this
Chalky
route in the
Transport
trains.
says I am going to have my lunch. If you are still streaming in 20 minutes I will be back. If not then thanks for the stream.
Enjoy your lunch, Chucky. Did Thomas just for you.
Nightbot says want to keep chatting outside of streams. Join my Discord https://discord.gg/zxacbngjh5. Melbourne train guy says yeah bitch good point.
Melbourne train guy says desk lights at TSD. Nightbird says please smash the like button to promote the stream. Thanks.
Chalky Transport says thanks.
2 miles to Stockport.
Train Sim World says I see you liked me NNR video the other day.
I did indeed. For those of you who
Melbourne train guy
don't see
says it was
Jamie's
delayed.
channel, let
Sorry.
me find it. Find the video that Jamie is talking about. There's the channel. And that one. That's where I'm going for
Train
the summer
simulator
gala.
driver says mixed traction.
That's one of Jamie's videos on the European Steam channel. If you don't know it and you like Steam from UK and around Europe, get onto that channel. Jamie does put up some pretty good videos.
Scott says, do you offer delay repay? At Melbourne Train Guy.
Might have to brake a bit harder.
Train Sim World says thank you. Yeah, just announced our visitor for the gala, smiley face.
I'll have to go look. What is
Train
it?
Sim World says summer one I mean.
Holy Trucker says I just did a run Manchester Airport to Piccadilly and thought oh okay, then I did a run on the WCML portion of the route and now I'm frigging hooked. This route is awesome. Melbourne Train Guy says at Hannah. Nope, only promised to get oi there. Not
So
to
what,
get
what
you
is
there on time.
your big visitor? Hopefully it's Scotsman, because Scotsman's going to be near you at that time. Very near you at that time. I've paid for a cab ride on Scotsman at Swindon. Swindon? At Locomotion, anyway.
Jack M says hi.
Hello, Jack M. How are you? Welcome along. We're in a shed. We're in an RHTT shed, in fact.
Hannah Scott says at Melbourne Train Guy sounds like the British Rail Network.
Did I get here a bit early, did I? Must have. It's probably because I was speeding a bit. Let's go and have a look at the North Norfolk website and see who the
Train Sim
summer
World
gala
says
visitor is.
0-6-0 Peckett, Ashington number 5 used to be based at the railway in the 70s.
Summer gala, North Norfolk Railway. Let's see who it is.
Melbourne Train Guy says at Hannah Scott Ilmza.
Visiting.
Holy Trucker says those Ballast Mountains are just outest of Stockport.
Visiting
Melbourne
locomotives
Train Guy
announced.
says LMAO.
Oh, that's Rails and Ales. That's a different one.
Jack M says not bad, yourself.
North Norfolk Railway, Summer Gala, visiting engine.
Train Sim World says Scotsman sadly can't get to the railway due to weight restrictions on.
That's Rails and Ales. I can't see what you've
Choo Choo I'm a
announced.
Train
Oh, hang on.
says I'll be intist to see the new class 99
that's a different
in
one
the
again.
game.
Yeah, I can't find what you've announced, Jamie. Oh, no,
Train
Scotty.
Sim World says https://railway.co.uk/a-festival-on-rails/.
Ah, excellent. I'm good, thank you, Jack. Hopefully you are as well.
Benjamin's brain in a jar says there are more
Ah,
slashes in this
cool.
stream than in Jack the Ripper's career. Michael Lee says Jamie, you're always welcome.
What a cool locomotive. Look forward to that. All right, I think it's time for a 153. Because I have to. Weekday 153, that's what I want. And we'll go that one. And I think a nice early one this time, 6:27. And we'll leave it at July, why not? And we'll leave it on dynamic. There are a few slashes in the stream, yes, just a few. Here we go. And... no, wrong way. Go the other way. There we go. And doors
Jack
would be
M
handy.
says SoQR announced the retirement of the Emu fleet today.
Is that it? No? There's a switch somewhere. That one, maybe. Can you turn on GSMR in this one? Probably won't be able to see it anyway because of the little lighting issue, but that's okay. Instrument panels on, cab lights. Day headlight. I could have gone the other way around. That would have been much quicker.
Holy Trucker says I want to yank out all my mods but some are TS2 prototype and now I can't tell what's base game and what's mods. Face with tears of joy. Face with tears of joy. Is there an easy way to tell?
It's a very easy way to tell, Holy Trucker. Uninstall the game from Steam and then delete all the files that are left. Done. Better put on DRA since I'm sitting in front of a red signal. Let's go and have a look around outside since we have to wait anyway. We should go up the down escalator because you do. You still here all this time? Oh. No, you want the new one, mate. You get 5, yeah?
Holy Trucker says that's gonna take at least 2 hours to reinstall everything.
Yep. The other way to do it is get on to Train Sim Community and grab Mod Manager. Because that somehow figures out which ones are mods and which ones aren't.
Hannah Scott says driver, you have reset the DRA. Please check the signal.
Now I can. Brakes off? Brakes off. No, not throttle max.
Richie Rail says good morning.
Hello,
Smiley
Richie
face.
Rail. How are you? It's usually me having a good morning and you streaming at night. Now it's the other way around.
Holy Trucker says cool. Is it easy to use? I've never heard of the program, but tease sounds like a blessing.
It is pretty easy to use, and because it knows the file names of the mods, it knows which ones are which, and it knows the game files. If you've got anything that's only just come out before it's been updated, it might miss some really
Melbourne
recent
Train
stuff.
Guy says morning at Richie Rail.
Richie, Dave's either going to come along to North Yorkshire Moors on the days that we go, or day we go rather, or he'll go to NMR with me
Rishi
the next
Rail
day.
says I'm good. I know how the turns have tabled.
Oh dear. How's Shan, by the way? I bought her favourite game on Steam today. It was $2. It was the one I last saw her playing in a video. Where's my little note thingy? Because we've got different audience tonight, so there are some days missing from this list because they are the days that I don't want to meet up with anybody.
Train Simulator Driver says London 12/08, Poole 16/08, Isle of Wight 18/08, Swindon 20/08, Kidderminster 22/08, York 25/08, Norwich 28/08, Sheringham 29/08.
But if people are interested in meeting up, we can probably arrange something. Either visiting one of the railways I'm visiting and go ride together and go explore and video trains, or just hit the pub of an evening and have an ale.
Richie Rail says she's good. We're both back at work after a long weekend.
Yeah, I'm glad you had a weekend together. It's good.
Matty L. Lynn says hey.
Hey, Maddie, how are you?
Rishi Rail says so Dave isn't coming on the Tuesday.
He might. He's deciding. But I'll add him to that group chat at some point when he replies to me if he says he wants to.
Hannah Scott says Welsh Scrabble, where every tile is a consonant.
Indeed, Hannah. We did try out the Welsh station name on the bot before, and it actually did quite a good job.
Richie Rail says, what game did you get? Goat Sim.
It was...
Train Simulator Driver says Lan Fairpool Gwingil Godja Iquian Drobble and Tizilai Ogagagok.
It was... Nightmares 2. Little Nightmares 2.
Richie Rail says, awesome. I've just booked off the day for NYMR.
Excellent. That's going to be a really good day. Go and chase and ride trains. It's funny, the people at work go, what are you going to do when you're in the UK? And I go, ride trains. And they just look at me. It's like, what? That's why I go there. Why wouldn't you go there?
Says, oh yeah, she loves Little Nightmares.
Yeah, I don't think I'll squeal quite the way she does when I'm playing it, though. Although that would be funny.
Richie Rail says, I'm well excited. Never been to NYMR before.
It's my second time on NYMR, and I spent so much time in the sheds at Grossmont because I actually knew someone there last time that I barely got to see the railway. I only got to Whitby once and Pickering twice. And given they were running, I think they were running 9 trains that day, it was a few less than I intended to ride, so... But I do like just watching them too. Hanging around at various points and just having fun watching them.
Richie Rail says, are you looking forward to the Scotsman experience?
Oh, absolutely. It's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. That's, like I said earlier on the stream, that I wouldn't normally pay for a cab ride, but I was quite happy to for Scotsman because it's the only way you're going to get on it. I don't know anybody that could get me on that thing for nothing. What's the max speed of these? 75. It sounds like it's still going flat stick, doesn't it? But it is slowing down. Yay, my new GoPro skipped. Finally. Gonna arrive on Monday, apparently.
Richie Rail says, have you booked any tickets for NYMR and associated trains yet? I think we still need to confirm times, don't we?
We do. Hello, Rails of Illinois. For NYMR, I'll buy a day rover, so I can ride any trains. And yes, we need to work out what trains we're catching to get up there and where we're meeting. Well, I know where we're going to meet. We'll meet on the train. You'll come up from Leeds and I'll get on the train. That'll be easy. But where we're going to meet casual, I think I should think about braking, shouldn't I? I don't think I'm going to get away with this one. I think I'm dead. Oh no, it's gone yellow. Might get away with it. I don't know that this is going to stop in the platform. Maybe it will. It's slowing down pretty well.
Richie Rail says casual will drive as he's nearby.
Not throttle max. Silly rail driver.
Hannah Scott says you may have got away with that one.
Yeah, except I've interlocked it. The brakes are very firmly on. There we go. I missed an AWS acknowledgement, clearly. Let's move further down the platform so the whole train's in. Do we want to meet casual somewhere to make getting to the railway easier?
Joshua
Richie?
Atkins says, what are your thoughts on this route? Personally, I do love it.
Like, I'm genuinely quite happy with this route because I like commuter type style, I like short runs, I like fast pace, and that's what this route is. And I quite like the scenery. I particularly like that a lot of the services ended up waiting for yellows and reds to get a path. Quite enjoy that. So it's got a couple of little things. We still got some headlight problems sometimes. And we still have our
Richie Rail
clocks
says,
that jump
did he
on
mention
zero,
Battersby?
but
He can
apart from
drive
that's
there,
pretty
I
good.
think.
Yeah, I hadn't seen if he had. Just checked Discord. Let's see if he's been talking tonight. No, he hasn't tonight. But yeah, we could do that. That'd be cool. And then we could either drive to Pickering or Grossmont. What did I do to you, train? What have I done to you? I've broken you, clearly. There we go. I think I throttled up before I released the brakes. I think that is entirely my fault.
Joshua Atkins says so much potential with this route in regards to future DLC. Richie
Yes.
Rail says sounds like a plan.
It's the ATS Hotel car park. Yeah, indeed. I think if ATS care to make a train, it's going to end up here. And they were on their stream talking about the possibilities of having a 2025 or 2024 timetable with modern stock. So they weren't making any promises or anything, but that was just where the discussion was going. And I think that would be
Rishi
really
Rail
cool.
says we need some more northern trains.
We do, yes. Hey up, it's a Northern train.
Rishi Rail says petition to get a 331 in the game.
What did I ride over from Wales last time when I came to Manchester? Was it a 170? Let me just Google that.
Joshua Atkins says definitely a 331.
Nightbot says please smash the like button to promote the stream.
Yeah, it was a
Smiley
170.
face.
That's what I
Thanks.
rode.
Richie Rail says it would have been a 197.
A 197.
Rishi Rail says they're new.
It was shiny. It was very shiny. I'll have to look at... I made a video of it actually pulling into the platform. I'll have to have a look. I was really
Hannah Scott
lucky
says
with
I
my...
still want to see the flirt on Greater Anglia, but a girl can dream.
Well, you can always put one there in free roam, Hannah.
Chalky Transport says sprinter time, is it?
It is sprinter time, Chucky.
Chalky Transport says I just went and gave my rabbits a new toy.
What did you give your rabbits? Did you give them a cat? Tree Sim World.
Chalky Transport says like a wooden log thing with a ball inside it that they can throw around, as they do.
That's no moon. That's a space station.
Hannah Scott says there's no GA route on the game. I'm hoping for Norwich London or even Ipswich London.
I'm going to be in Norwich during my trip.
Joshua Atkins says great time for release considering the temperature is really hot.
Norwich
This
is
route
one of my
definitely
rest days.
suits the summer. Probably going to try it in the winter.
I just did a winter run before, Joshua, and there wasn't any snow on the ground. So hopefully that's not a universal issue.
Chalky Transport says next time I see them I'll take a look. Chalky Transport says I was trying to stroke Chalky and there was Dottie trying to climb on my back. Joshua Atkins says what's your favorite, ketchup or mustard?
Oh, yeah, it depends on the circumstances, mate.
Chalky
With a nice
Transport
steak,
says, wait, I meant take a pic,
got to
not
be a
take
nice
look.
mustard or a nice brown sauce. For a sausage, it's got to be a tomato sauce, which you call a ketchup.
Rishi Rail says can't beat some barbecue sauce.
Just looking at yeah,
Lord
3060.
Vectron 4 says I'm going to have another early night. Long days are wrecking me. Night all.
Night, Lord Vectron.
Richie Rail says Paul.
It's only 9:25.
Rishi Rail says Paul's favorite sauce is mango chutney.
Ah, mango chutney
Chalky
can be pretty
Transport
nice.
says not one for sauce, except ketchup. Gotta catch up.
Got to catch 'em all.
Richie Rail says especially with a fried breakfast.
Oh, I do believe I had a
Lexicon
mango
says where do
chutney with
caramelous onions fit
Richie.
on this saucy spectrum.
Chalky Transport says, night to Lord Vectron I meant.
Sleep well, Lord Vectron. Dream of electric sheep. Vectron. Vectron.
Hannah Scott says HP sauce is my favorite.
I don't mind an HP.
Rishi Rail says you did, I remember it well.
Look at the smoke pouring out of that one. That's awesome. Like a bit of Worcester sauce too.
Richie Rail says don't forget the Flixtron.
Ah, yes. Or the pink one that I made for him.
Atkins says don't forget Heinz on beans. Beans means.
Farts.
Chalky Transport says there was that 150 and 3 153s. Richie Rail says I'm partial to some salad cream.
Sounds like a brand of aftershave salad
Rishi
cream.
Rail says Pinktron. Matty Elvin says as a legally blind viewer / player I'm liking this new text-to-speech in your chat. Instead of reading every comment I can hear everybody's comment.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I don't do this a lot, but on some streams, particularly the more casual ones, I don't mind turning it on. Give everyone a voice. Are you going to stop, train, or what? Come on, stop. That was on step 3, and it was just going, oh, I'm just going to meander down
Joshua
towards this
Atkins
red
says
light.
love a nice sour cream and chive with tortilla crisps.
Like these. There we go. Oh, what are we going to do next? Pendolino? We haven't done a Pendolino since yesterday. Maybe we do a Pendolino.
Richie Rail says it helps Paul keep up with the chat, haha.
Actually, it does. It is very handy for that. It also means I don't
Hannah
have to
Scott
read
says
everyone's
at
chat out.
Rail, I like the Heinz sandwich spread. Thicker salad cream with bits of veg in.
Match commuter and timetable.
Joshua Atkins says and salsa.
Oh, you know what we haven't done?
Richie Rail says what flavor are those? I've
An
not seen a green
87.
packet before.
These are salt.
Richie
Salt
Rail
flavored
says
corn
Heinz
chips.
sandwich spread is elite. At Hannah Scott.
944, that'll do. We'll run the 87, and then we'll do a
Lexic
Pendo.
Dark says how about a hollandaise? The Germans were known to put remoulade down their shorts. Being eaten by a crocodile competitions.
Ooh, it was fuzzy. Plasticky. Doors. Brakes. Oh, does this one not talk to rail driver? I don't think this one talks to rail driver. That's boring.
Rishi Rail says like ready salted. That's a poor flavor of Dorito, haha. Give me chili heat wave. Joshua Atkins says burger sauce is definitely the best, especially with burgers and a pair of gherkins. Nightbird says enjoying the stream. Consider supporting the channel by joining https://www.youtube.com/train simulator driver
Is me
/
rolling
join.
away with my brakes on? I thought this thing supported rail driver, but it doesn't seem to.
Nightbot says want to keep chatting outside of streams. Join my Discord https://discord.gg/zxacbngj5. Chalky Transport says no, I don't like burger sauce.
I wonder if the rail driver software I run has died or something. No, it's still working. It just doesn't affect the train, which is a bit boring. Oh well, we'll drive with the Xbox controller, it'll be fine. What could go wrong? What could go wrong indeed? Is it time to go yet? Nearly. Shut the doors
Joshua
a minute early.
Atkins says chili heat wave has to be the best Doritos.
And just slowly roll along towards this red, tempting fate.
Lexic Dark says speaker bot does not like Nightbot.
No, they're not good mates.
Hannah Scott says I like chili heat wave, but still enjoy cool original.
Can I spin this signal out for 15 more seconds? That's the question. 3, 2, 1. Green light!
Chalky Transport says speaker bot and Nightbot, the terrible rivalry.
Got another red now.
Rishi Rail says obviously tangy cheese is the goat of Dorito flavors. Lexic Dark says Paul, remember the wasabi peas.
Wasabi peas. Yes, it's where you take a great handful of peas and shove them in your mouth and regret it for the next 3,000 years.
Chalky Transport says I don't like Doritos somehow.
Australian Doritos are actually a little bit different to the UK ones.
Chalky Transport says Walker's crisps are the best.
Walkers are Smith's crisps in Australia. Same brand. They look identical, except here they say Smith's, and in the UK they say Walkers. Go figure. But we have a Walker's crisps as well, which isn't the same as
Rail
yours.
says peas, like petit pois peas.
Little green ones covered in wasabi. Wasabi coating on the outside. And you know how much wasabi you would normally have in a lunchtime serve of sushi? It's like that on each pea. It's challenging.
Joshua Atkins says have you tried putting jalapenos in a burger and trying it? It is definitely the best combo.
I've had jalapenos in a burger. I like jalapenos in an enchilada as well.
Chalky Transport says and in the US they are Lays I think.
Yeah, they are.
Rishi Rail says they sound nice.
And Joshua, have you tried something proper like a ghost pepper? Last time I was in the US, I was having dinner with a friend of mine and he brought me some ghost peppers that he had grown. And he couldn't eat them. And I'm just going, much. Yep, they're nice.
Rishi Rail says Walkers / Smiths are Lays everywhere else, even in Europe.
They're Frito-Lays in America.
Hannah Scott says at Chalky Transport yep, and they're all owned by Pepsi.
Ew, owned by Pepsi. Bad news.
Joshua Atkins says haven't, might have to try that on my next trip to the US.
Oh, you can get them anywhere, mate. Habaneros are nice as well. Habaneros, you want to have a smoked one. Oops. Am I accelerating wildly? Why, yes I am.
Richie Rail says have you tried Carolina Reapers?
Oh yes. Oh yes I have.
Matty Elmin says so bricks and Aussie have to be different. Ha.
Of course we do. Ooh, it's an 87 on the back too. Just completely ignoring the speed limit.
Joshua Atkins says been meaning to try the Carolina Reaper.
All I can say about Carolina Reapers, Joshua, is have milk on standby for the top end and have something damp and with lanolin on it on standby for the bottom end later. Because after a Carolina Reaper, everything burns.
Chalky Transport says did you know Pringles is Kellogg's?
Well, that seems fair.
Lexic Dark says I was in a chow lake with a chili lover to eat these multicolored Guatemalan death chiles off a bush at a permaculture place. He had to run off for milk, and I had the hiccups.
Yeah, the noises in the 87, it always sounds like there's a diesel pushing it.
Lexic Dark says we were told the next day that they even have to use a bit in cooking for 10. Maddie L. Lynn says maybe have a defibrillator on hand as well lol.
If you're partial to that kind of thing, yes.
Hannah Scott says that Chalky Transport indeed, although the company is now called Kellanova.
Kellanova. There's still Kellogg's here. Or at least they brand us to Kellogg's still.
Lexic Dark says I have never seen a chili these colors ever. Purple, red and yellow. Eep.
Oh, on the one fruit. I have seen those. They're lumpy.
Hannah Scott says they still use the Kellogg's brand.
Joshua Atkins says I remember as a kid, I had something spicy and the next thing I had a lot of yogurt, more than I am used to.
I'm not a fan of yogurt, so I usually, if
Lexicart
it's
says,
really
well,
bad, I'll go for
the
cream.
colors are definitely a warning label.
And the fact that they're lumpy. Lumpy on a fruit is never a good thing. That's warning you it's a poison. Which they basically are, chilies. They have capsaicin. Bad stuff. Thought that double yellow was mine for a moment there. I thought, I'm just speeding up. This thing does like to rock and roll on this route, doesn't it? It's enough to make you seasick. To fly ahead to the station so we can watch this come through.
Joshua Atkins says Rice Krispies or Cocoa Pops.
Oh, I don't mind a Rice Bubbles.
Fox says I'd rather have a bowl of Cocoa Pops.
Chalky Transport says I thought you were being naughty the other day after checking my layer list and seeing unknown JT Mark II, but then I realized I uninstalled Chat. Lexic Dark says my lips went numb, worse than you get with the dentist and the hiccups for 10 minutes. The other guy was freaking out, even though he talked big. Laughing with tears I was.
It's not like you to show off like that, Lexic Dark. Trust the heritage train to be going too fast.
Maddie Elman says I prefer Cocoa Rice Krispies.
Nightbird says please smash the like button to promote the stream.
Smash that like button. It's fair, isn't it?
Lexic Dark says I was challenged, no show off on my part. I just went, okay, present them.
Yeah, it looks like I am doing my fireman's practical on Friday.
Joshua Atkins says Rice Krispies cakes are nice with chocolate.
A bit of Activite. I don't know if you have Activite in the UK. For whatever reason, I thought I was stopping here, but of course we're not. Maybe I should bring some Activite and you could all try some.
Chalky Transport says, is this the last service for the stream?
Oh, I would have to be getting close because I'll finish at 10. I still want to do a Pendolino though. I was going to do a Pendolino, then I saw the 87. I went, oh, I've got to do that.
Lexic Dark says AHH, the days when Nutella actually was mostly hazelnuts. Those were the days.
Oops. Oh, we can't let that northern thing get away with that. Hopefully I don't blow the circuit breaker. It's about as high as I'm willing to go.
Chalky Transport says, how dare he overtake you?
All over that. That's what I thought. I wasn't going to let him get away with it.
Chalky Transport says you are speeding so much.
Yeah.
Lexic Dark says I can't see the current draw, how many amps? Chalky Transport says he has yellow, you have green.
Ah, how many amps?
Rishi Rail says teach that 323 who's boss.
Don't actually know how many amps that is. Doesn't really...
Chalky Transport says yeah, and that would be Thomas.
It would have been a lot though.
Chalky Transport says face with tears of joy.
We're not in weak field yet though, so I can get a bit more out of this.
Says speed limits. What are they?
Come on. Run it up into weak field. Nah, it won't go up into weak field. Doesn't want to. Unimplemented neutral section? Don't care. Oh, it is implemented. I'm stepping down. How about that? I didn't think the neutral sections were actually implemented, but they are. Where's the big button I have to push? There's a big button somewhere. Train heap.
Chalky Transport says yeah, they said that in the article.
Only one of my traction things is notching up though, the other one's dead. Oh well, we'll go on one motor. Wakefield, yay! We're going to have to stand on the brakes shortly. It says to do 100. So you just look at that and hope the signals are going to clear. And we do have full beams. The second loco didn't recover from that. Only ours did. We'll make it. I have confidence. Misplaced confidence, perhaps. I think we're going to be alright, actually.
Lexic Dark says chasing yellows hee hee.
That's because we're stopping. So a rail tour
Lexic
stopping
Dark
at
says the
Elderly
delay was
Edge.
absurd.
Got to hit the ton. Roll that last little bit gently if we're gonna do it. Are we gonna make it? We want the perfect stop here. Lovely. There we go. Pendolino time. One last one before bed, I think. It's a good plan. We're going to feed the hordes. Eating, actually. So we don't forget later. And Pendolino coming up. Any second now. To the trains. Choose a route. Mank Airport. Weekday Pendolino. We'll do the long one. Why not? And what will we do? Euston to Mank pick. That's in the evening. They're all evening, aren't they? Oh well. Or at 4 AM. We'll do this one. It's summertime. It should still be light. Wow.
Chalky Transport says you have 25 watching. Nice.
Alright. Now let's set this beastie up. We have master key. Reverser. We don't get the flashing lights on this one.
Chalky Transport says maybe most of the pendos don't stop.
Oh, they're mostly depot moves. Come on. Did I open the doors? No, I didn't. That was silly. No faults. Good.
Joshua Cumbers says hi from the UK.
Headlights.
Lexic Dark
Hey,
says
Joshua.
why does the light counter get stuck after you've pressed it?
Day running.
Chalky Transport says considering Stockport is Avanti managed, you'd think there are more drivable services from there to pick.
Righto. It's time for the Pendo to do its
Ensure you
thing.
have a valid ticket for travel. You will be expected to produce your tickets when asked to do so.
Chalky Transport says you have 3 likes on my end.
3? Oh, come on, 25 people. Whack the button. It genuinely is helpful for a streamer if you're enjoying the stream to hit the like button, because it signals to YouTube that this is something worth watching.
Lexic Dark says, oh, well, I was number 3 at near the start.
Off we go to Stockport.
Chalky Transport says I was number 3 too.
Lexic Dark says what?
Oh, it does have a pantograph up. It's beginning to wonder.
Chalky Transport says I refreshed, you now have 24.
Ah, magic. Thank you, folks. Let's pile on the juice for this one as well. She goes quick, the Pendolino, but she doesn't accelerate all that fast. Gratuitous viaduct shot, gone the wrong way completely. Missed it, done well, great.
Lexic Dark says like counter been broken for a few weeks now for everyone.
Yeah, it could be. Hopefully their new leaderboard stuff will come, because that looks interesting. It's based on people chatting. So the more you talk, the higher up you go. It's kind of cool. Alright. So much for that run.
Rishirail says I've seen up to 30 viewers, so can we match that 30 likes please?
I think we've got 26 at the moment. Assuming my count's anywhere near right. This feels like a Chasing Yellow service. I like them. Looks like we're going about as fast as whatever is in front of us, because it's got yellows and double yellow and then double yellow again, so it's staying out in front at the moment.
Lexic Dark says so speaker bot is more like a chatty bot.
It is kinda. Every now and again I think about paying for some good voices for it, because there are some good ones you can get. But I think the robot voice I actually kind of like, because it means that, you know, no one's pretending that it's anything but a robot voice. Whereas if I give it more human voices...
Chalky Transport says I have done my bit and like the screen bringing face with smiling eyes.
Thank you, Chalky Transport.
Chalky Transport says did it just say exploding head?
I think it did say exploding head, yes. So much for our super high speed run. Not that I know why we have to slow down for 40 up here, but, you know, sometimes I do. Sometimes I do.
Says speaker bot is a bit hard to abuse, with its timings and punctuation spacing all being a bit odd. Kind of makes it safe.
Yeah, it does a bit. It can't call the APIs continuously, that's why YouTube kick you off.
The chicken or the egg?
What came first, the chicken or the egg? Bacon. Bacon came first. Because if you didn't have bacon, you wouldn't need eggs.
Lexic Dark says the rooster, of course.
Lucky rooster. Made someone mad yesterday. They wanted to know where crabs do their banking, and I said a sandbank,
Says the plate.
which of course was funny, but no, they were a bit mad because it wasn't the answer they wanted.
Felix Song says, oh, I wanted Stephen Hawking's voice, unamused face.
It almost is Stephen Hawking. It's close.
Hannah Scott says at Felix Song shall I put in a grocery order, and let you know.
That's one way to find out, huh?
Felix Song says rolling on the floor laughing.
Do you have an artificially manufactured egg crisis in the UK like we do? There's been a massive proliferation in backyard chickens in Australia. I think it's a conspiracy by chicken food makers and chicken breeders.
Nightbird says enjoying the stream. Consider supporting the channel by joining https://www.youtube.com/train simulator driver/join.
I reckon that's probably in at the back, near enough. Game thinks so too. Is it in at the back? Let's find out.
Nightbird says want to
Good
keep
enough.
chatting outside of streams.
Good enough.
Join my Discord https://discord.gg/xgpunch5.
Is there anything in Stockport #1 box? No. Haven't modelled the inside. It's a nice reflection though. What's that?
Felix Song says can you artificially manufacture eggs?
Make them out of
Hannah
plastic,
Scott
sure.
says all our eggs are okay. As far as I know, there was a few cases of bird flu last year.
Yeah, we have some bird flu going around too. It's a fairly common thing here.
Nightbot says, please smash the like button to promote the stream. Smiley face. Thanks.
Chalky Transport says yes, all the passenger doors are in.
Chalky Transport says a moth tried to fly up my nose face with steam from nose light skin tone.
That's excellent. The plane, boss, the plane! It's actually quite disconcerting when you've got one of those near the airport and they fly over your head and you get this massive shadow. I only wish these were made of metal and I could stick my GoPro on the outside of them. Ah, yes. Gratuitous viaduct shot. Perfect. And as they always say, if you're a photographer, always look behind you. Is that plane flying backwards? There's another one following it, look. That's a lot of planes. Ah, well, back to full fang. Time to scare the signalman.
Lexic Dark says that plane midget turned out to be a pyromaniac, but pixie dust off of moth wings. AHH chew.
So the plane guy set fire to stuff. It's kind of cool.
Sam's Train says, but have they modeled the Stockport Hat Museum?
Oh, I haven't looked. I don't know, Sam's Trains. Welcome to the stream. This is our last run tonight in the Pendolino. The colours on the graffiti look quite nice in the dying evening light. So as the sun sets, our journey will come to a close at Manchester Piccadilly. Oh, people might find this funny. On one of my trains, I have to get off at it's Birmingham Blossom Street, I think, and walk to Birmingham New Street. So, I think I'll catch the tram. As long as I don't miss the train. If I'm running late, I'll get an Uber or a taxi. Taxis are pretty easy to get near train stations. Too much. Oh no!
Chalky Transport says Moore Street.
Oh no!
Holy
We're gonna end
Fucker
with a
says, "When I
spad!
turned off all my mods with Mod Manager. Do I just close and launch the game now, or do I launch another way?"
Yeah, just close and launch. Should be fine.
Hannah Scott says apparently there's going to be a game show based at a hat museum. Who wants to be a milliner?
Oh dear, Hannah.
Chalky Transport says Birmingham Raw Street.
That's a bit like that British baking show, Master Baker.
Lexic Dark says, overshoot or what?
No, we weren't supposed to stop there.
Nightbird says too far at Train Simulator driver try braking earlier.
No, there was no overshoot on that one. Birmingham Moore Street, you think? Oh, it was something else. Let me have a look. Snow Hill. Birmingham Snow Hill, and I've got to walk to New Street.
Sam's Train says that's a good pun. I applaud the pun.
Ah, it's good to have a good pun. I even went and checked to see if I had the London Midland mod in after my stream yesterday, because I thought maybe I had one in, and I always take them out for new routes. But no, it's not there. The signals really are like this. What is that Pendolino doing over there? What was going on there? It's all jiggly. Wow. Wow. I think that's a bit too tight for a Pendolino, just saying. Yeah, okay. When's that? 3:04:54. I shall report that.
Chalky
Jiggly Pendo.
Transport says oh my god.
So what have I got to report? I've got the lift, I've got the Jiggly Pendo, the overbright signal lights, and no snow on the ground.
Lexic Dark says wiggle it. Just a little bit. Chalky Transport says the signal lights are nice.
That's when you get right up there with, I'm too sexy for my
Chalky
train.
Transport says also it was raining in Piccadilly.
Oh, that's been reported. I know that one has. I haven't seen anybody report a lack of snow yet, though.
Hannah Scott says it tilts. It vibrates. Is there anything the Pendolino can't do?
And it's got 4 speeds, Hannah. There's a brand of deodorant that the can looks exactly like the Pendolino. So we slide into Manchester Piccadilly, well lubricated. Won't be moist under the station canopy this time, because no more rain tonight.
Felix Song says, I like your thinking, Hannah.
Shiny hair. Looks like it doesn't have anywhere near 80 yards to go, but we'll believe it. Out you get. Get off me train.
Please remain behind the yellow line at all times. Trains pass through the station at high speed and can cause turbulence.
Seems fair. Alright, that's
Benjamin's
it
brain in
for
a jar
tonight,
says,
I
looks
think.
legit.
It actually kind of looks like... Oh no, there is glass there. It's even slightly dirty. It's just glass that rains. There's a good spot. One last shot for tonight. Not there. No, let's go back in here. Oh, quiet you. Right, that's better.
Hannah Scott says, is it Mitchum that looks like the Pendu?
No, it's a lady-only one. Flickery
Lexic Dark
lights.
says thank you to Paul from being our driver. And
Look
to
at all the
chat
flickery
for being
lights.
wonderful. And to speaker bot TTTTTTTT. Chalky Transport says thanks for the stream, has been fun.
Yeah.
Chalky
bit of
Transport
vignette.
says we played a game.
We did indeed. And we're taking a screenshot, and it's dark. There we go. Right, that will be it, folks. So have a lovely day for those of you in the UK, and for those in Australia, have a good evening, good night. Hope you sleep well. And we shall see you on the next one. And UK
Felix
people,
Song
I will
says,
see
"What's a
you
pen do?"
very, very soon. And I shall go and type up some bug reports now before I feed all the cats and go to bed. All right, have fun, folks. Thank you very much. Appreciate all of the chat tonight. It's been really cool. And SpeakerBot, you did well today. Enjoy.
Chalky Transport
See you later.
says by TSD Waterwave.